Hi guys, I'm bored, so I figured I'd make a video, and I don't really have a good plan, but I think I just want to talk about a couple things. One, I plan on making a video very soon in which I'm going to kind of walk you through how I approach covering any song. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's not real mystical to me, but I'll go through the steps of how I do it rapidly because I can do about 20 songs a week on a good week. And a lot of people ask, and I'll share it. I'll just show you what I do process-wise. But I'm thinking before I do that, I should spend some time with you, maybe just covering some more fundamentals of, I want to say guitar lesson here, but keep in mind, what you see is what you get. I'm self-taught. I've been playing for about 30 years, but I'm self-taught. So if I tell you something and it's not, musically accurate, you get what you pay for. It works out in its own system, but don't expect a degree from Juilliard. So I guess I'll start with let's just jump in. Everybody's afraid of bar chords, and I get it. When I started playing guitar in like '96, the first thing I did was I started playing the records my dad had in his basement. I was living with my dad at the time, and I would listen to like Beatles records. I would listen to, let's see, I think I had a Mike Watt record. I was really into, of course, Frank Black, the Pixies. I didn't have any vinyl, but the point is I tried to listen to stuff I was familiar with and jump right into the deep end, and of course that didn't really work out. So I kind of started just learning that the hardest part of playing guitar seemed to be the part that everybody avoids, and that's the bar chord. I didn't have a whole lot of trouble learning how to do open C, open E, open A, hoping you're pretty familiar with those. Otherwise, you might have some trouble keeping up here. And G. I noticed that there was like two kinds of guitar players, two kinds of guitar instructors, wherever I kind of investigated in my self-teaching journey. And that was the people who try to make every song easier by making it open chords so you don't have to play bar chords. And I didn't want to be one of them. I wanted to be the ones who, you could tell the difference. Everything was in the same key. It always sounded the same. It always sounded very Campfire to me. It wasn't enough. I wanted to sound, I know that it would take longer, but I wanted to sound, I don't know, good. I wanted to do the hard things. So I spent a lot of time learning bar chords. And it probably took me a good 6 months before I could form good bar chords. And I played strictly just on an acoustic. I didn't have an amp, so I couldn't really do much with an electric anyway. Not a lot of money, and I had a borrowed acoustic guitar, and it had ridiculously high action on it. So my first, sort of like my first car, which was an '84 Nissan Pulsar, which had a ridiculous clutch that prepared me to drive any stick shift. This first guitar I had, it had terrible intonation. It was a beast. But I learned how to do bar chords by ignoring one of the lessons I saw out there that everybody was teaching, which is that you are to start with your index finger, and I would see these ridiculous, like, I can do it now, but at the time I didn't have the muscle memory or the strength, and so trying to start from a position of leverage that I didn't have with a claw grip I really couldn't accomplish or couldn't hold for more than a second without just feeling burn and ache. It became irrelevant what I did with these fingers because this just sounded like plonky. Well, what I figured out is it's actually a lot easier if you think of it more like, how the E chord, you get these, you probably use these fingers, but put this part down last. Put the bar down. Sure, come on in, I'm making a video. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been relocated to my middle son's bedroom because my wife and 8-month-old need that room. So anyway, as I was saying, put the index finger last. In other words, if you wanted to make the A bar chord, which is right here, start with these 3 fingers. Yeah, these 3 fingers. and then clamp this down last. I don't know. I think it's a lot easier because you establish leverage here, and then you clamp only as much as you need when you hit the note. If you're having, sustain problems, which you might for various reasons on an acoustic. It's not easy, especially when you're beginning. Same goes for the A-type bar chord. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about is there's a lot of other kind of bar chords too. And this is the C-style bar chord. I don't know. You got the G-style bar chord. They're worth learning because they give you another dimension of movement and connection through, how can I explain this? You might have to do more with this finger squeezing to do some of these chords, but you'll do a lot less shifting because you can access the other side of the notes that you can't normally get. I mean, there's no open E flat, but you can get to E flat right here. So if you got to go from G to E flat, there's like no other way to do that without going back and forth like that. But that's what I'm saying. It just gives you access to more chords, and you could think it's better that way. Anyway, you got your basic major, minor, 7th dominant, major 7th, I guess, minor 7th, and then you get them up here too. Not in the same order. I learned a lot of these things on my own, and then in more recent years, I accidentally discovered that one of the things that I'd spent a lot of time stumbling into and learning and defining on my own in my own way was actually a very established system they call caged, C-A-G-E-D, if you've ever seen that. And it just has to do with the way the same chord kind of is connected all the way up. For example, it's the C. Here is the same note. If we start right here, we make the A-type chord, C, A, that's also a C. A G, starting from where that left off, that's also a C. You see what's happening here? That's the E, E-style bar chord. And then a D. Sorry, I did that wrong, but there it is. You'll have to forgive me. There's a medication shortage right now. There's the D. So, those are just some of the basics, I guess. What else? I do mess around a lot with double stops. That's sort of like when you mute a middle string. So you know how you have a power chord. If you kind of let up a little on that middle one and just let this finger numb that a bit, you can get that kind of sound. And it just gives it a fatter kind of sound. It takes a little practice to do that kind of, that wavy stuff. But it sounds like somebody's boiling some water and nobody's going down there. So give me 1 second. Yes, the wife was making coffee. Anyway, that was a double stop. And I guess another thing, since we're talking about muting a middle string, have you ever heard of a jazz 7th? That's like, you got a C7 up here, but there's a little shortcut C7 here. It's a very movable, jazz is all about movable chords. Not a lot of opens either. And that's about the extent of my jazz knowledge. I just borrow that stuff. I'm strictly rock and folk and just about anything else. So, and a little jazz, let's be honest. Somebody sending me a message. Wow, that's totally appropriate. Okay. Also, I've gotten a lot of nice messages from you guys, listeners, fans, stalkers, a few creepy people. In fact, one of you was kind enough to offer to share your medication with me. No, you can't do that. That's big trouble for all of us. Don't do that. You'll get yourself in trouble. I'll get through this. Anyway, once I figure out what song we're going to learn together, and I mean, the reason this is taking a while is because I want to legitimately learn a song with you on video, not pretend to be learning. It's not like a cooking show where I've already cooked it and, you know, we're going to cut it together and I'm going to take the shit out of the oven. I'm going to learn a song with you. Maybe you'll see me goof it up, but we'll see what we can do. The point is I'm going to teach you how I try to learn a song. It's more about the process. Once I figure out what song, it's going to be something, you know, it's going to be the right song. Anyway, hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching.